Hello there, welcome back. Thanks for being here. I hope you have been enjoying my lectures on WireMock. So I strongly recommend you guys to start from the very beginning of this particular playlist and try to have an incremental knowledge on this particular tool, because this is going to be a niche skill set given the migration of teams or adopting of teams towards agile TDD. So you will not have the full APIs or full systems built in. Rather, you should be concentrating on writing stubs for yourself by understanding the requirement and then be able to test as well. So I hope you guys have been continuously focusing on these lectures. If not, please, I recommend you to go back right from the beginning and then start watching all of this. So in our last lecture, we have created a stub, but what we have done little different is that we read the response from an external file. We kept it in __ files directory, and from there we read the file. So which was extra learning in this lecture, in that lecture. So in this lecture, I'm going to explain you a new thing, that how to start a WireMock server automatically. So in our previous lecture, we have thus far we were working with the standalone server. So wherein as a prerequisite, we are starting the standalone server by running java-jar wiremock.jar file we are invoking, and we are specifying if we wanted to run it in a different port, else we are instantiating it in a new port which is 8080. But in a pure automation, when we say that we are automating this process completely, you should not start the server manually at all. So there should be a way around. So even the server can be started and it should shut down automatically on its own. So how this can be controlled programmatically is something that we are going to learn in this lecture. So this would be really interesting, guys. So stay focused, and I assure you have a great learning. So right now what you're seeing in the screen is the documentation part. So we already know that in order to work with WireMock, what dependency to be added and which class to be packaged to be imported statically, so that all the methods are listed. And if you see, there is an annotation called @rule. So this is coming from JUnit, and this from there you have a class called WireMock rule. So if you create an object for this particular class and you specify the port number, so what happens, WireMock would be instantiated automatically before before you actually do some operation, maybe creating the stub, and then you test it. So let us see how these things will be orchestrated and how this sequence will happen. I assure you'll also learn a lot of JUnit annotations. I'll use before, and I'll use after, and at test. So I hope that we have a great amount of learning in this lecture. So let's get started without a delay. So in the project that we've created, so I'm gonna have a new class, and I would name that class as WireMock rule example. So this is my class name. So because we are going to start the WireMock with the help of JUnit rule. So first thing, we should start the server, then create stub, then test the stub using rest assured, finally close the server. So these are the 4 different actions that we are going to learn in this lecture. So let's just learn one after another. So before we learn the new thing, so let us implement the thing that we already know. Let us quickly write the stub. We know that we need to import this WireMock client statically, so that we'll have all the packages listed for us. So I just copied that from the documentation. I'll create a method called create stub. So this stub basically helps me to create a stub. So we know that the method to create a stub for, so just give control space, so you should be getting the suggested method, and mapping builder. So mapping builder, I'm going to say this is going to be a get method, and then URL equals to, so I would say slash v1 slash services, for instance, and this will return a response with status as 200, with body that is going to be something. I have some small JSON message created. I would just copy the content from there. So this is the message that I would like to just display. Let me just put it over here. So guys, like I would strongly recommend you guys to start using Eclipse Photon version, because that has some good offering. So wherein when you paste a string, multi-line string, automatically it appends all the escape sequences and all the appending characters. So this is not handled if you have older version of Eclipse, something like Neon, Oxygen, or Luna, some previous version. So please have Photon installed. It has a lot of beautiful features too. Okay, so with body and with body and status code, maybe with header, so I would say header content type, and this is going to be application slash JSON. Yeah, so that's it. So we are done with writing a stub. We have successfully created a stub. Let me just see what is the error. I think I should have this created within this piece, and then I will remove one. Yeah, so now we have created a get mapping, and this is the context URL, and it will return a status code 200 with this body message, and the content type is application slash JSON. So this is our stub. So now let us write an test for it. So we know that we have to test with rest assured. So I'm just gonna have a test saying that public void test, and this test is gonna test my stub that I've created, rest assured dot base URI. So this is something local host colon 8080, and let me just put http colon double slash so that the URL is complete now. And now let me proceed with other part of rest assured dot give request specification given dot log dot all. So we know that we are enabling the log message, and as per BDD syntax, when the method is get, we know that the service URL is slash v1 slash services. So let us close this thing and control to L. So we got the response now. So let me import this at test annotation here. So that error got resolved. So now with the help of response dot get status code, so let us print the status code. Let us print the status code and response dot pretty print. So I'm just gonna print the response. So we have done, we have created a test as well, and we return stub. So let us just try to focus on how we actually create an instance for wiremock rule class and how do we start it. So from the documentation, we have already seen that @rule is the annotation that is coming from JUnit. And if you go to the documentation part, so this is how you basically start your wiremock server. So you will create a public object with a public scope. This would be wiremock rule. I would say object equals to wm new wiremock rule. Yeah, so let me just import wiremock rule. So we should get rid of the error. Let me import the rule from JUnit. That's it. So we have created successfully the WireMock instance, but where are we actually starting? So we created an instance, but somebody should be starting and somebody should be closing that. So I would basically have a method called public void setup. So this method would be running even before the test case starts. So in order to do that, so let us just annotate with before. So before is the annotation that is coming from JUnit again. So if you actually know the test-ng, so the annotation concept is actually helping us with the sequencing of operation and the frequency of operation. So the sequence would be before would be run, then at test, and if you have after, so after would be running. So this is how you organize your test case flow. And if you ever work with test-ng, there are a lot of other annotations as well, like the most parent would be before suite, and before test, before method, before class, and at test, and similar way you have after as well. So every annotation has its own frequency and its own sequence when it will run and how frequently will it run. So you can very well go through the test-ng annotations part to understand, but if I were to explain you in a very high level, this will help us sequencing the flow of our test case. It's like when to execute what piece. Okay, so there in the WireMock rule object there is a method called start. So I will start this particular thing, and once my test is completed, I'll also ensure that my WireMock server is closed. So I will say public void tear down is my method name. So I will just may have one method, and then I will stop this server. So I need to annotate this particular method with test-ng after annotation. So if you see guys, like whatever the piece of code that is there in the after before would run either before the test and after the test. So initially what happens is that when the flow executes, like test-ng JUnit will find the before annotation and rule, and then it will start, and then at test would be executed, and this thing. So and also it is also needed to call the stub method, because create stub is also invoked in setup method. So what happens in the sense, in the before in hand, so WireMock server is started and it will create a stub for us, and then it will go and basically start testing this particular REST assured script. So previously what I've done, the create stub method, I've called it in the at test method, but this makes more meaningful if I call these methods in the setup method, which is annotated with that before. So I think we are pretty much done with the scripting. So I hope you have a great understanding on this thing. Let us just quickly run to see we are good with this operation. So just run let me as JUnit test, and I've given OK. It started and test case is running, and yeah, we have seen the results in green. Let's open the console. Yeah, so you see, so just because the reason that we printed log, we saw which is the method and what is the endpoint that we have invoked, and what are the headers, and we have seen what is the status code, and we have also printed the message that we copied from the other JSON file that I have in the system. And there is another way to start as well. So that is basically starting in a dynamic different ports. So if you see guys, right now I have not had any WireMock standalone server started. So let me prove that. So if I give netstat -a, so you see you don't have any WireMock is running on my port number 8080, because we are not using the standalone server anymore. So the beauty of this particular at rule annotation is that whenever we execute, then only a particular WireMock instance is created when WireMock.start method is called, and we are also ensuring that we are clinically closing this with the help of stop method at the end. So now what we are going to do, we'll see how to how basically we create a dynamic port, because in the industry not always you will work with a fixed port. At times there would be a requirement that how to start different WireMock servers in a different ports. So in that case, like how do you actually configure? So again, this is the same thing, but WireMock rule has a overloaded constructor that actually takes new WireMock configuration. So in the WireMock configuration class, you have a method called options, and if you, I think you have a method called dynamic port. So if you call in this method, what happens is that, so the WireMock server would get started dynamically in a specific port. So it will, you can see that particular WireMock is started in various ports. Like so far we have learned that it is running on one specific port number. It could be 8080 or 8081 as per our choice, but the moment when you use WireMock configuration, there is a method called the dynamic port. So when you call this method, what happens in the sense, every time WireMock instance created, so it ensures it starts in a new port number. So that's how we can have a greater efficiency as well. So that's it, guys. So I think in this learning, you guys have been introduced to a lot of new things. You had a decent understanding about JUnit, and you now know how to start a WireMock server programmatically with the help of AttRule and a WireMock class. And we also learned how to properly organize a test case by having a tear down and setup methods. So we have called a respective method in the respected test case, a respected event, so that our test case is well organized. I hope you guys have really enjoyed this learning, and this is very informative for you guys too. So please subscribe to this channel so that whenever I push a video, you guys know that there is something new for you to learn. So thank you so much for listening me throughout. You have a great rest of today.